Hey everyone, it's Pat Monahan, your master of ceremonies here on another edition of the Patcast. This week has been a big one for Train. We started out by putting out our brand new single, Angel in Blue Jeans, on Monday, and thank you so much to everybody out there who's gotten that single. Hope you guys are liking it. Anyway, yeah, it's been a long wait for us, but I hope that it was worth it for you guys too. We appeared on the Howard Stern Show, which is like our favorite show in the world, on Monday. Went to a whole bunch of other radio stations in New York, New Jersey, and Philadelphia, and then went to Raleigh, North Carolina on Thursday, and then back to New York City for the Today Show on Friday. We got a couple of podcast sessions in too while we were there, and we came back to the West Coast for the weekend, and we're probably on a plane going east again by the time you're hearing this. I'm very tired. I don't sleep very often these days, but it's a good kind of tired, so it's fine. We have a bunch of shows coming up, and I hope you guys get to make it to some of them. We'll be at the Boise Music Festival in a couple of weeks in Idaho, and we have a couple of shows in Michigan in July. We'll be at the Basilica Block Party in Minneapolis. We have upcoming shows in California, Nevada, Washington State, and Utah. And we'll be at Red Rocks in Colorado. Chicago, we have two shows for you at Ravinia and London. We did not forget about you either. We'll be at the V-Fest in August. We're very excited about all of it, and we just wish that we could make it to more places and see more of you all this summer, but we have an album coming out in September, and we'll be doing more touring after that. So please keep checking back at SaveMeSanFrancisco.com, and we'll keep you updated as we book more shows and things start to fill up. You know, the entertainment business is a strange place to make a living and to just exist in, and there are a lot of different angles and approaches to a career as an artist. Whether you're a musician, an actor, a writer, a comedian, some people find success very young, and for some people it takes years to really hit their stride. There are a few people who are in the spotlight and become household names, but far more who find great success and achievement behind the scenes. Here on the Patcast, we tend to spend time with people that I either know or like, or people that I'm just getting to know but find interesting. But we try to be open-minded. Sometimes the best stories come from people who you wouldn't expect, like Gavin Newsom, the Lieutenant Governor of California, who happens to be best friends with an NFL agent named Doug Hendrickson, or maybe John Hamlin, who runs a lot of the day-to-day operations at country music television, but got to start operating a camera on tour for Eddie Murphy and Tina Turner. Or Butch Walker, for instance, who goes on tour with his band and plays small venues to several hundred rabid fans, but writes and produces songs with some of the biggest artists in the world. It's always amazing to see where great creative minds come from and how they're formed. This week I bring you an old friend, a dear friend of mine. Years ago, right when Train was just getting started, I was living in the Bay Area and painting houses all day, every day almost, to pay bills, and I met a guy named Don Baker. Don and I became fast friends, and I didn't just become friends with Don, I became friends with his whole family. His brother is a guy named Brian Jarvis. Brian is a writer, a comedian, and you may have heard of him before. I've mentioned him several times, but he's a working writer in Los Angeles, and he's doing really well for himself. Every time I check in with him, he has a few more projects in the works. Most recently, he's been working on a script called Test Drive with his writing partner and the Farrelly brothers, who I think everyone has heard of. He's also working on some writing for a couple of Nickelodeon shows. He talks about all of this in this week's interview. Brian has a gift for making people laugh, and he's been making me laugh for as long as I've known him. So I asked him to be on the podcast and to talk to us about what it's like to be a working writer in Los Angeles. It's definitely not an easy hustle, and it's usually taking a hell of a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to make it happen, and time to get anywhere. And Brian's persistence is not only key to what I think will ultimately be his greatest success, but it's part of what makes him so great to be around. He hasn't yet hit the $1 million movie script, but he believes in himself, as we all believe in him, and I've always believed in what he was doing as a writer and a comic. But the thing is, he can meet you for the first time, and minutes later you will find yourself believing in him as well. He's just an incredible positive force to be around, and If Brian Jarvis does not make you laugh, you should be hospitalized or get your head examined. He's a great friend and a very funny man. This is Brian Jarvis, and he's our guest today on the Patcast.
What do you do when nobody's looking? Nobody's looking. What do you do? What do you do when nobody's looking? Nobody's looking, looking at you. You got to get it while the getting is good. Laugh when you can, cry when you should. You got to give it till the giving is gone. Do what you can, then you move on. What do you do when nobody's looking? Nobody's looking. What do you do? What do you do when nobody's looking? Nobody's looking, looking at you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've known this guy for, I'm not sure how long, maybe 15 years now, and
Longer.
probably almost 20 years.
90,
huh?
yeah, 92, 93, I think.
Wow, really?
Yeah, 93, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Like 22 years or whatever that means. I don't even know.
I can't do the math, but
I can't either.
it's almost 5.
And so, almost 5 years?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're-
my math is...
Yeah, you're
but
not good. But,
Between 5 and 7 years.
So all the way from Massachusetts, you moved to Los Angeles. I met you through your brother Don in San Francisco. Here he sits, a great comic, a great writer, and also a great musician, my friend Brian Jarvis. Well, no, you're not really a great musician.
Yeah. You were
Or-
thinking about somebody else.
I was totally
good.
thinking about
Somebody good.
I was thinking about somebody else. But I wanted to talk to you on this podcast because you're one of the most talented people I know. And I think that I think a lot of people already know who you are because I've mentioned you lots of times. But I also think that people are about to find out way more about you. You have some stuff happening right now that I think people are going to get in touch with. I want the exclusive, the Barbara Walters. We'll cut it right when you break, at which you would never do this interview when you're in the big time. So I got to get you now, right before the big moment. And so I wanted to talk to you about a whole bunch of things because you've done so many versions of so many things in your business. And I want to find out what you're doing now, what you're about to do, what your favorite parts of all of this are, and like how long you've been doing it, because it seems like
Forever.
forever, but that's what artists are made of. Like you know, people who do it for 5 years and get a bunch of money and you never hear from them again. I don't know if they were ever artists in the first place. So what's happening right now?
Right now I'm teaching karate by the pier.
Oh, that's cool.
I've been doing it for almost a week. And I don't have any students yet. But, and you wanted to know my favorite part, and it would be the low block. I think that is where I'm comfortable. That's where I work. You know, best is like, it's sort of like a Taekwondo thing that I saw once, and I kind of just developed it and, you know, made it my own.
Right.
So I go down there every morning, 6 a.m., you know, rain or shine, and I'm low blocking the shit out of some serious, you know.
Air.
You know what a kata is?
No.
Do you know what a kata is, or a form?
No.
Oh, because I'm trying to learn it, and I need somebody to teach me so I can go down and teach it at the pier. But I'll go online to YouTube or something.
You think you're going to do that for a while then?
I'll probably do it at least until tomorrow morning.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So you might be done then. And
I'm probably done.
so you sent me a script the other day, and that script had nothing to do with karate at all.
Oh, right. Okay. So you want the real deal.
You can go either way.
Okay, but I'm not guaranteeing I'm not going to cry. So I moved out to San Francisco a long time. I was in the Army. Did you know that?
Man, I don't think I knew Don was.
Yeah, I was in the Army, and then I AWOL'd.
You did.
I left the Army, and
What was the result of that?
well, I turned myself in to a Bravo unit in Berkeley. I know, it's crazy.
So wait, where
This
were you?
is all true.
Where were
This
you
is-
stationed in the Army?
Fort Benning, Georgia.
Okay.
And then
And when you bailed, were you scared to death?
sort of, but not really. I was
you
I was
were
young.
You were
know?
more scared to stay.
Yeah, I was like, I went in for college, and then I never ended up going to college. So I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
How
in
long were
here?
you in before you were like, I
22 years.
No.
No. Oh, I cracked myself up
AWOL
with that
right
one.
before retirement.
No, year and a half.
A year and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe a little less. It was a long time ago. I mean, and I've done so many drugs since then. But yeah, so I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm not going to school. I don't want to be here. You know, so my brother was living in Berkeley at the time. So he's like, come on out here. That's not a good impression of him, but that's pretty dead on.
It's
Hey,
pretty
come
close.
on out here. That was when he was a parrot.
Yeah, yeah.
He was a parrot for 2 years. I don't know. I ramble sometimes, everybody. So I went out to Berkeley, and I lived out there. I turned myself into a Bravo unit. It was a woman.
In California, you turned yourself
Berkeley,
in.
California.
And how'd that go?
Great. She was a woman staff sergeant, and I just kind of, I'm just, I just can't take it. I've had a bad family life, and Army's not right for me. And I just, I played on her sympathies. I was starting to act right there. And she, she bought it. No, but she was totally cool, nice, and she gave me the paperwork. I got the federal warrant, lifted off my arrest, and there was no
How long were you away
repercussions.
before you went and turned yourself in?
Probably 3 months. 3 months.
Whoa.
Yeah, so they were after me. I had they were definitely after me.
Wow.
But
You must have been scared in that.
I
3
wasn't
months.
too scared. For
So
some
weird, man.
I was like,
how old were you? 20?
I was 18, 19. So
Wow.
Yeah, 19. So it was and that's kind of where I've kind of figured, like, what am I going to do? I've kind of always, like, joked around, and I was always the high school idiot, and I was a total fuck up in the Army. Like, I was the worst. I would go behind. I could do all the drill sergeant's impressions, so I go behind the other platoons, and everybody's at attention. They had to stand in like attention, so they couldn't look, back.
Right.
So I would go and do their drill sergeant. Who the hell told you to move? Get on down, start pushing Georgia till I get tired. Everybody's like, start doing push-ups, and my platoon would be laughing and shit. It was really funny. So I was totally a screw up. But then after that, I was like, man, I think I want to do comedy. I think I can do this stuff. I can really like it, because I was a fuck up in everything that I ever tried, pretty much, And then my brother was in a band. So
Your other brother,
my
Hal.
other brother was in a band. And years before, I did like a little guitar thing, just stupid thing, and I got a taste of it. So then I was like, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try to take like a improv class or something in San Francisco, and that's kind of where it all started.
And improv class, that was for acting and comedy, or?
It was like the groundlings. It was like theater sports. And, truthfully, I wasn't that good. I was always like just kind of go for the joke, and I wasn't good at space work, and I wasn't, I just didn't vibe off of that. So I kind of knew that I had to maybe do stand-up. I love sketch. I grew up with Saturday Night Live, and and I liked stand-up. Steve Martin and George Carlin and Bill Cosby. Those are like the first albums I had, and that's my influences. So I started writing. Like, I'm going to try to do this open mic that's above Brainwash in San Francisco, and that was my first open mic I did. And I did it, and I tried to do my act, and it was horrible. This act was the worst. I was thinking about it the other day. It was like,
Did you see comics during that were good, though?
yeah.
And
there
did any of them come to you and say, man, that was terrible. You're really one of the worst?
Yes.
They really did?
No, actually, somebody said, hey, we're booking open micers if you want to do it. It was like, I went really well. But it was, thinking about it now, it was a horrible act. It was, I closed with an impression of John F. Kennedy, Neil Diamond, and Alf. They were singing the song On Golden Showers, which I was, oh, Norman, I remember the first time you pissed all over me. Huh, Willie, he's, you don't even want to, you get the drift.
It's funny, when I was talking to Bob Saget the other day, and then I was reading about his comedy and other comic stuff, there's something about the first thing you ever did that every one of you remembers.
Yeah.
Like the first stand-up, because you probably stressed so hard about
man,
it.
yeah.
But you probably could figure out how to do that 5 minutes all over again, huh?
Probably, yeah. I don't know. I forgot so much stuff. I forget. I'm not good with jokes or memory or telling jokes or learning jokes or writing jokes.
Yeah, that's not
You know,
probably good.
it's not good for a guy like me.
No.
So yeah.
So, but I mean, now you tend to be you write comedy for like the acting of it, like you and your partner. I don't remember your partner's name.
Jim Freeman,
Like I think Jim is awesome, and
He's awesome.
you had Buddy and
Buddy and Andy.
Which Jim played a steak.
Yeah.
And you were a butcher.
Right.
Which is, it just seems so obvious that, like,
That is.
I love Buddy and Andy.
Buddy and Andy's awesome. Yeah.
And so how come why didn't that go to the next place?
We tried, and like I call what Jim and I do is our rejectory. It's like we just get turned down after, we don't like this for this reason, but whatever happens, whatever negative thing happens, there's always like a great positive. We get turned down, but you got turned down for this. Like with that thing, we got turned down from Adult Swim, but we got it to Bob Odenkirk, who we started working with,
Right.
after that.
But then you and Bob and Jim came up with another kind of a show.
Right.
What are you doing with him currently, or is that over too?
I mostly just hang out by his window, and like I know where his bathroom window is, so I hang out
Right.
there. I see it's like 7:00. He goes in, does his little shave thing, and whatever, and that's mostly what I'm doing with Bob right now. No, well, he's super busy. The last time I talked about, we went to his birthday party, and he was awesome and a gracious dude, and he's on Fargo now. He's doing his own spin-off from Breaking Bad, which is Better Call Saul. So he's super busy, but we're super busy just doing other projects. But we're going to work on something. We want to get back together and work on something.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, but
See, Bob comes from Mr. Show, and that was
Yeah.
one of like every band in America's favorite show.
Mm-hmm.
Like he and David Cross were like everybody's comedy gods, and then when that show got canceled, it was disappointing. So for me, when you started to work with Bob, I was just so psyched for you because I thought like he's one of the greats.
Yeah.
But I think you're one of the greats too. So what are you and Jim doing now? Because you have a script that I read that I think is really great. Is it going to be a feature film? And
It
you
is,
mentioned working with the Farrelly brothers.
Yeah, after Bob, like I was saying, the rejectory, I'll just tell you real quick. After Bob, we got hooked up with one of the cast members was Fortune Feimster, and she was on Chelsea Lately. So we got together and wrote a pilot that we sold to ABC. It didn't get picked up. So that happened. But through that, I got a lawyer and out of it, and the lawyer was Pete Farrelly's sister. So we wrote a feature which was called Cop Car, which is now the one you read, called Test Drive. And she got Pete Farrelly the script, and he loved it.
Wow, that's
so
cool.
Yeah. So it's like all these kind of things it's the rejectory.
And so what's
telling
happening with the script right now?
So
because
right-
it's been about a year since you guys started to work together.
Yeah, we've been working, and it got passed on by all the majors because of one thing or another, but we're just kind of going down the tiers, and it's still at, I don't know if this is boring for anybody, but it's still at original with the guys that do, what's the car? The Fast and the Furious. So we're still trying to sell it with those guys and Pete Farrelly on as producer.
So Pete's still.
Oh, yeah.
He's still down with it all.
Yeah, and we're still working with Pete. Like we're still working on 3 different projects with Pete. So we kind of teamed up with him, and he's awesome. He's like, he's from the East Coast, so he's just like, we kind of had like kindred spirits. It's crazy. And we're actually taking his novel over there, the comedy writer, and we adapted it to an episodic. So we're pitching that next month too. So we wrote the pilot for that. So he's awesome. But as far as that script goes, we're just going to wait and see. And I think we're doing another project where we rewrote one of his scripts called Dear Satan for Fox. And it's, but now it's called Better Watch Out. It's about this dyslexic kid who writes a letter to Santa, but he's dyslexic, so it goes to Satan. So Satan comes back and it wreaks havoc.
How do all these scripts and everything change names so often?
Well, a lot of it's just hard to market Dear Satan to the Bible Belt, I would imagine. You know,
See, is that going to be your audience anyway? And shouldn't you not give a shit? Like, isn't that part of the like when you do something, don't you have to get people's attention more than anything? Isn't Dear Satan more like, what is that?
I think you should come into the Fox meeting with us.
Okay.
Because that's something
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. At this level, there's nothing we could say. We're just like, okay, yes, sir, we will write your thing. You want to change it? Absolutely, sir. Yes.
At what stage can you tell people we don't give a shit what you think? Or is that never? Because you're always trying to sell the next thing that you're working on.
It depends on what you want to do. I mean, that's pretty much essentially what Louis C.K. does. You know, he does whatever, no notes, you know, and on his TV show, that's it. You know, you want this, you know, and that's what he does. But if you want to sell a big studio, you know, a feature, you're going to have to compromise. You have to compromise no matter what.
All of it, right? You would. If somebody gave you a chance to work on FX and make a show like Louis, you would love to do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're pitching a lot of shows for television, and we're pitching features. Yeah. So all of it, you know, we want to do. You know, I just want to work. You know, we're adapting a book for Nickelodeon called Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library. You know, they read a filthy, filthy script like Test Drive, and then it's like, these guys got to write for kids.
No, really? How do they?
Isn't that crazy? I don't know.
Are you kidding me?
I'm 100% serious.
Oh, you're serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so funny that my friend Sean Peterson, who you know,
yeah,
he was really into like directing, but weird shit, and then all of a sudden, I think Disney picked him up to be a director on like a bunch of kid shows, and he was like, I gotta get out of here for a while. I gotta go find out like if I still got that dark side of me left, because you start to get a little bit twisted into the whole Disney world. But it's funny that they read somebody that had something to do with Nickelodeon read Test Drive, and all of the terrible things that happened in that script that I've read.
Yes.
And they were like, you know what? These are the right guys to do the Allison Clark show, which is for kids that are about 7 and younger.
That's exactly what happened.
Is nuts.
I know. It's just, I guess somebody knows comedy.
And do they pay you to work on this stuff?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a deal.
Like, you're working all the time and getting paid for it. And I'm asking this stuff because there are a lot of... Well, plus I would like to get on some of this money.
I got $40.
No,
I got
but
$40 with your name on it.
There are people listening that want to, like, they're probably like, I wonder how that works. I want to know how, like, when you're a starving artist or a starving comic or whatever you are, that if you, hey, go work on that stuff, and if we like it, we'll pay you. Like, I don't know how this kind of thing works, because if you write a song, people don't really commission you to write a song unless you're really serious, a big time guy. And now these days, as far as I know, they just go like, hey, write a song, and then you'll make a shit ton of money if it's any good.
Right.
But not in this world.
Well, I mean, every circumstance is different, but you will do a ton of work for free. No matter what, you'll still have to do like your take on it. And then you go through a series of, okay, so this is their take, and then let's move it up the ladder and see how they like it. And then you go in and pitch your take, so you're going to have to work on it no matter what. You got to do a lot of work for free. I mean, it's not spec work. I mean, Test Drive was a spec, script. And then we sent it out, and people will, make their decisions on that, but
how often up until now were you like, man, this is just not worth it, this is too much bullshit? And then what stage did you go, it's too late now? I mean, because for me there was a point where I was so scared that it was over for me, but then I was like, but it's too late. I remember now. That. It's too late now to quit. I can't. Yeah. You know what I mean? You get to the point where you're like, I'm scared I should get out. I'm scared I should get out. I'm scared I should get out. I'm scared I can't get out.
Yeah.
When did that phase happen for you?
I think really never. Never, because I don't have a fallback whatsoever. And this is the only thing I love doing.
But your wife is rich.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a trillionaire. And that she's the only trillionaire in North America now.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, bathtubs and birdhouses. It's crazy.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and she's branching into bird baths.
Oh, really?
So there's a lot of money in bird baths, and you don't know it. It's like, God, they're crazy. I mean, our tub is a bird bath. I mean, if you guys want to go, I would love it if we could all get in the bird bath later. You know?
I love that.
Yeah. But no, I never had, I don't know what I'm going to, I can't do anything else. What am I going to do? I have the softest hands in Hollywood. You know, I cannot, hold a hammer, or I just hated every single job, you know?
Man, I know what you mean. And,
Yeah.
and your partner, Jim,
Right.
is he, when you partner up on something like this, you have to be very similar with that whole vibe and be like, it must be hard to have a partner, but also a relief at times, right? It's like being in a band.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very hard to write with somebody. I mean, he's the only one that I have found that I can write with. It's really hard to have a sense of humor that's up to your standard, and then to not butt heads so much. He's the quiet guy, I'm the loud, obnoxious jerk, but that's with anybody. I'm always that guy.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, I know. I can see the look.
So you and I are like partners.
Yeah, we're pretty much like Legos. We go together. Not like the dirty way. I meant wieners into the butt.
Yeah, no, I know what you meant.
You know what I mean.
I know what you meant.
But yeah. So he. So you can edit that out, can't you?
No, he doesn't know how to edit.
The manual's really long.
Oh, it is. Oh, wow. Okay. People still read manuals?
I wanted to know, along with
Google
a
it.
partnership and stuff, is Jim musical?
He can be, but
Are most musicians or are most comics musical? Because all the
I would
ones
say,
that
yeah.
I meet
yeah.
really are, and you're one of them.
Yeah.
So did you start by wanting to be in a band, or did you start by just wanting to be funny?
No, yeah, I don't think I ever. I think I played around with bands as a kid, but I never really wanted to. My brother was in a band, but I've always loved music. I was raised around music, and I still do. I'm a big, music fan. So but I don't think I ever wanted to be a rock star or anything like that.
I think there's something about that side of the brain, but when I asked you if you would sing a song, you chose such a strange song.
Yeah.
And I really don't know why you did it. Let's play it,
Okay.
and then I can ask you what the significance is, and I'm pretty sure you're not going to have a good answer.
I can tell you right now.
No, I don't want to know.
Okay.
You're not going to have a good answer because there is no good answer for this particular song.
Yeah. It is. I thought about it after. I was like, why am I doing that song? And then I tried to think of another song, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't think of anything. There's just too many
The
songs.
only thing I can think of is this is by B.J. Thomas.
Yeah.
And you're Brian Jarvis.
Yeah.
And there's the link. And Jerry Becker, who's JB, BJ backwards,
Whoa.
Thomas is my
is here with us.
Yeah.
And his middle name is Thomas, and that's why hit it.
It's lonely out tonight, and the feeling just got right for a brand new love song. Somebody done somebody wrong. Song. Hey, won't you play another somebody done somebody wrong song? And make me feel at home while I miss my baby, while I miss my baby. So play for me a sad melody, so sad that it makes everybody cry. You song about love that's gone wrong. 'Cause I don't wanna cry all alone.
Hey, won't you play another somebody done somebody wrong song? Make me feel at home while I miss my baby, while I miss my baby. Play for me a sad melody, so sad that it makes everybody cry. A real hurting song about love that's gone wrong. 'Cause I don't wanna cry all alone.
Won't you play another somebody done somebody wrong song? Make me feel at home while I miss my baby, while I miss my baby. So hey, won't you play another somebody done somebody wrong song? Make me feel at home while I miss my baby, while I miss my baby.
One more time, Brian Jarvis.
Hey, won't you play another somebody done somebody wrong song? And make me feel at home while I miss my baby, while I miss my baby.
All right.
You know, now I would like to hear your answer for why you chose that song.
That's one of my mom's drinking songs. She's gonna love that.
Oh man, that's so funny. You know, Saget chose.
He chose You Are My Sunshine.
You Are My Sunshine.
Wow.
You thought this song was sad.
Yeah.
Like, that song is sad.
Isn't that
what I'm
crazy?
realizing is that all comics, except for Ken Jeong, he chose like
Doorbell by
thinking about my doorbell when you're gonna ring it. And
Yeah.
so he was the only happy one of all of you guys.
Yeah, it's crazy. I would get into, like, I would only listen to sad music for the longest time. I mean, this Nick Drake was a close runner-up to this. And
really?
yeah.
Him and Elliott Smith.
Oh,
yeah,
my
good
God.
call.
I call them songs to slit your wrist by.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
It's funny though. Why is that? Is it, do you have to have dark stuff in your life to be a comedy or to be a comedian?
I don't think so. I don't
So
think
you
so.
think there are people out there that have a pretty
I know there are.
significantly positive childhood life,
Yeah.
and then they end up being successful comics? Are they the kind of comics you give a shit about?
It's a tough question, but I think so. I mean, they're few and far and in between, but I find that most funny people have some shit to work through.
Yeah.
And this is one of the ways they work
It's
through
a way
it.
to work
Yeah,
through it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like writing songs. Like,
Yeah.
it's fun when people listening on the radio are listening on the radio, but getting to that phase
Yeah.
is like, it ain't fun, man.
No.
It's not fun to write the comedy. It's fun to hear people respond to the comedy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of the stuff, I think, talking about like sore subjects or that's a therapy for me, you know, like being able to joke about some of that stuff is like
Right.
is the best therapy I think that I know of that I can do for myself, among other things. But I think that's why I'm so grounded and so well adjusted.
Oh, that's nice. You turned into, I don't know what just happened.
I know. Yeah, I'm not wearing pants. and my penis is stuffed into my own anus, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's working through it, in a positive way.
Right.
Bouncing from time to time because I enjoy the feeling. Yes. Sorry, I could go
How
on.
long have you? That's another thing I find with comics. You can only get a real conversation for, I don't know, around 17 seconds before it switches over into something else.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Well,
You have 17 seconds.
I know.
You have 17 seconds.
I know. Very good. That was Jerry Becker right here with a joke. What a Hail Mary, and it landed perfectly. What was that question?
And time's up.
No. Oh, that was tough. What was that question? I think it's a blessing and a curse. I don't know. I feel like it's not like I'm consciously trying to avoid something or maybe I don't want to let the world know who I am. I feel like that's not really who I am, but I just enjoy and I can't resist a joke or something that's funny. I've got to say
It's hard to pass it
It's
up.
really hard to pass it up. And I think maybe that's a problem. I don't know.
Is that part of your childhood? Were you around a lot of that?
Well,
And then, no, I don't mean in a dark way, but like your brothers are funny too.
Yeah.
So like, and you're the youngest of those guys, and you have sisters. So I can imagine that the ping pong of insults was fierce in your house.
It was crazy. There was a lot of stuff, and I was the brunt of a lot of weird shit. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
when I was 5, they wouldn't let me in the house one winter after I was sledding, and they told me I was Cindy Brady. And they would not let me in the house.
Get out, Cindy. Go down the street where the Bradys live.
No, I live here. I'm fucking 5 years old. I know.
You're Cindy Brady. You live down the street.
No, I'm 5. I want hot chocolate. I've been out here for 4 hours.
Shut up, Cindy. You Bradys.
Your wife is so laughing at this painful, terrible
It is.
experience. It's
Yeah.
exactly when I was 5, my brother, he had no idea the great comic that he did, or the comedy that he designed, because he went up to me and he said, Mom doesn't want you anymore, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, she does. And he said, nuh-uh, go ask her. So I go into the kitchen. I go, Mom, do you want me? And of course, my mom is like, no, honey, I don't want you. 'Cause she was like,
She was in on it.
like, no. She was like thinking, did you call me?
That's
Did you call
awesome.
for me? No,
Wow.
honey, I don't want you.
Yeah.
Ran away down the block.
That's
four houses
diabolical.
or whatever. My brother, she makes my brother come after me. And he's laughing. Like he can hardly get to me because he's having a heart attack from the greatness that he.
That is, well, how old were you guys? You
I
were
was
in your
5,
20s,
and
right?
he was like 16. No, he was probably like 18 or 19 at that point.
Holy
He was. I mean, he used to make. He handed me a plastic machine gun once, and my other brother was sleeping on the couch. I was 2, and he goes, "Go hit him over the head with this." So I did. And then what happened? The problem with all of this was then
how many
when
brothers you have? You have
3.
3.
When I visioned all of the laughs in my house, that's what I wanted to do. So I would take this shit to school.
Right.
And I remember getting in a lot of trouble, because like this one girl, I used one of my brother's jokes, and she went right up to the teacher, and I had to stay out, and she's like, Patrick, I want you to tell me what you just told Carol. And I was like, I told her that she's so ugly that her dad has to tie a pork chop around her head just so the dog will play with her. Because I didn't know
You
that
didn't know
was
what it
bad.
meant,
It
yeah.
was awesome comedy
I
that
know.
was used on me.
Yeah.
And so, but that was like your brothers probably play a big role in why you got in so much trouble.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, definitely influenced my comedy, no doubt. Everybody was funny. Everybody was a funny person.
And it was a
in that.
competition for funny, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I
There's
mean, and then I know, like in a lot of your comedy, you talk about some of the kids you grew up with.
Oh,
and
yeah.
those guys were insanely funny, man.
I think there's something, there's nothing wrong with California. and in the West Coast, but I feel like there's just a different brand of comedy on the East Coast, whether it's New York
made a
or
comparison,
Massachusetts.
or your brother Don made a comparison once, and I asked Saget about it because I was like, one of you guys said the West Coast, East Coast is either dick or ass,
Right.
where East Coast is all dick jokes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that, and Saget was like, I don't know anything about that shit. But anyway, what is the difference between the two sides of the country? Because they're different, man.
Yeah.
Like Louis C.K. is from the East Coast.
Yeah.
And his shit is so funny.
I think East Coast, just to put it simply, they're more crass, more blunt. I think, so there is a lot of ball humor and dicky and ass.
Okay.
Yeah, I
it's
think
all
so.
of it.
But then you got your New York intellectual humor, but I feel like out here is a lot less of that kind of
Right.
stuff.
It
I
is.
think it's been going on there forever. It's just something that's in the air there. I don't know. It's in the water, but I feel like, and I don't want to, make anybody mad that's from California, but East Coast comedy is way better than anybody ever. It's just the best. It's so funny. It's way funnier than anywhere else.
I don't think you're hurting anybody right now.
Yeah.
One of the subjects that I wanted to talk about with you is sobriety. So you and I had this thing in common for a long time where
Yeah.
we were sober. I was
Right.
sober for 17 years, and I started drinking wine about a year ago.
I did not know that.
And so
I heard some scuttlebutt.
Well, so I want to talk to you about sobriety, if you want to.
I'd love
and
to.
What place it plays in your work. Why you are sober, if you want to.
Yeah, I'd love to.
And what role that plays in your success as a writer, and the fact that you're writing scripts and making relationships and getting involved in all these things. And will you ever drink wine again?
Okay. I guess that was a 12-part question. Okay, let me start with 6.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but you were really one of my inspirations to get sober. And I don't know if you remember that call. I called you and I said, "Hey, man, what's it like being sober?" That was 2003, and that was right before I got sober. And
so it's been 11 years.
August will be 11.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
If you want it to be.
It is. I know, yeah, I mean, that's probably the wine talking, but are you drunk now?
I'm a little. It was the only way I was going to be able to do this.
Right, I
interview.
understand. I'm hard to take. Yeah, you got to soften the edges. So I really do have to thank you. I mean, you told me, how it was and how it affected your life and how you benefited from it. And I pretty much got sober because I wanted a career. I wanted a life, and I really was at the bottom. I mean, I was doing a lot of bad stuff, hanging around with a lot of bad people. And you know who you are. Or maybe you don't because you're so fucked up. But I don't know who I am. Anyway. So to answer, that was this one part of it. But if I didn't get sober, I know for a fact that I would have nothing that I have now. And, and it's not much, but I'm making a living, and it is everything. It really is. Without getting too, I don't want to proselytize or get too hooey on this subject, but absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, if it immediately started changing when I was at the bottom of the barrel doing a lot of blow, smoking crack.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, everybody.
I didn't realize that. That's amazing.
Yeah, with my lungs. and drinking a shitload and not doing anything. And
Did you think at the time that it was giving you a creative edge?
power to kill again? No.
But was it giving you an edge? Did you think that it was playing a positive role at the time, or was it just like habitual at that, and it was like fun and party and whatever?
At that point, it was just it was like a heroin addict. Just I had to do it.
and it
was
gets
maintenance.
real dark quick, right?
Yeah, that's where the diminishing returns comes in.
Yeah.
I'm not when you're young, you're partying, you have like, oh my god, I just had the greatest night, and we're just having so much fun. At that point, you're just fucking, okay, I got to do this again because I cannot stop, and it's just it's horrible, and it's.
Right.
I was just so empty and so lonely, and like, it was just the worst feeling you could ever. I was the lowest, I was at my bottom.
Yeah.
And another comic at the Comedy Store saw me, and I was bloated. I was coke bloated. I'd binge for 4 days, and then I'd drink like a fish, and I was.
How are you making a living?
I was waiting tables, and I was like 220.
There's a lot
sweaty.
of drugs in
Oh my
restaurants.
God. Tell me about it.
I mean,
yeah. Yeah, and I would just sit.
We're on our way to a restaurant after this, just to let you know.
I'm getting hungry. I'm getting hungry over here.
So is my nose. So I would just pretty much sit around like a manatee, scratching myself with a plastic fork, staring at the TV, sweaty, greasy, gross. But so he said, "Hey man, if you get sober for 3 months, I'll take you on the road with me."
Oh,
and I'm
cool.
like, okay, that's some inspiration. So I did it. I finally did it, and immediately I had probably a month sobriety, and I got on. I went on the road with him a little bit, did a couple shows, got on Mad TV. Then I auditioned for Punk'd. I got Punk'd, and then since then I've been working consecutively.
Right.
Like, so it was like that was all the reinforcement I needed. That confirmed it. Like, okay, this is the
I was
path.
the same way.
Yeah.
What I needed to do was I needed to get the courage to. I needed to get the courage to be in a relationship. And then the clarity to see what it was, and then the courage to leave it, and then also the capacity and the clarity to create a career for myself. Because at the time, I was nothing. Like I was trying to write songs and sing, and
Yeah.
I was very average at best at any of it. And just like in school, just to get a C, I had to work really hard.
Right.
And it was no different in music. Like I had the gift to be able to sing, but if I really wanted to go, I had to work harder than everybody.
Yeah.
And I had to have a day job and do music at night. And when you're drunk, it just makes it so that it's impossible and the world
Yeah.
starts to fall apart. Then I had a baby, and I was like, okay, that's my cue.
Right.
That's the baby. That's where I'm out.
Yeah.
And so about a year ago, we make wine. Train makes wine, and my wife and I have been talking, and I never went through a program.
Right.
My being sober was really it was interesting for me to like look back at it, and so about a year ago, my wife was like, you think you'll ever have a glass of wine with me? And I was like, probably not. Like, this is my foundation. This is what I live by.
Right.
And so, a few months went by after that, and I started to ask myself about that foundation and the rule and the fear of ever moving past that. And I almost thought of it as, I'm going to try it and see if I'm still that kid. And I don't know if I am, but I tend to be able to chill out now, and I never could. I never could turn it off and sleep. I would just get mad at people because I'm so worked up about doing all the work that I would just get mad at everybody for not working as hard as me. And now I just have a glass of wine, and I'm just less of an asshole. And I really am. I'm not saying booze is the way to go for me, because I don't know how long it'll last, and it might last my lifetime, and I really enjoy it. But the thought about it and everything, I haven't wanted to like disappoint my sober friends.
Right.
And so I haven't like I didn't call you or the other sober people
I
in my
noticed.
life. I mean, I didn't like, because I didn't want it to be like a, hey everybody, Pat's in trouble. I need you to come to my rescue. It was like a thing that I wanna see this through a little bit and see where it's gonna take me, and
Sure.
and the joy of it. And I'm a grown up, and I'm not making terrible mistakes, and I'm not driving, and I'm not the same kid. So it's a funny, almost enjoyable time for me. But I've avoided talking to my sober friends because there's judgment in it too for myself, and I
Right.
didn't want to be judged past my own judgment.
Sure.
And it's like, I don't really need anybody's help. It's not one of those situations for me. But I wonder, like, as my friend who I inspired to get sober, does this kind of shit disappoint you? Because I want to feel like I can be myself as well as a sober guy and as a guy who's not sober anymore. Can I be the same person with you, or do we have a different relationship from now on?
No, I feel like, and I'm not going to joke. Honestly, when I heard, I was shocked, and I was like, oh man. And that was the first thing, was like concern. Okay, is he in trouble? Is he,
Right.
because when people,
And I know a lot about that shit.
yeah, I mean, when you can do it all, you have the access to serious drugs.
Yeah.
Good drugs. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So you could really get fucked up. I mean, all sorts of fucked up. So I was concerned.
Sure.
But after thinking about it, and I know, like, you're not in a program, so I don't know what your process is,
Right.
or how bad you were. I've heard that you're bad, but I don't know if you're an alcoholic.
Oh, that's
interesting.
I don't know who you've heard from. We can talk about that. And
Bad,
with
bad in
somebody
the
else.
past or bad present?
Bad in the past. No, you
bad in the
told
past.
me
Yeah,
how
that was
you
me.
used to drink.
Sure, that was me.
Yeah. So I didn't know. I can't, as they say, I can't take your inventory. I can, I don't know what you're going through, where you're at now, because I haven't spoken with you. So I don't know what's going on. So I can't judge you yet until, now I'm judging you right now. I can judge you now.
Okay, good.
a
We
lot.
switched over.
Yeah. So, but
Well, the reason I'm asking this stuff, and the reason I wanted to do on this podcast, is because I really admire you as a person and as an artist.
Oh, wow.
And
Thanks,
so
Pat.
I want our friendship to continue regardless of what my life decisions are or your life decisions, and that we do care for one another. And I would want you to care for me and say, hey, man, what's the story? And for me to be honest with you about
Yeah.
the story, and for you to do the same thing.
Yeah,
if you
absolutely.
ever make a life choice that would maybe not sound like who you are or who I know of you,
Mm-hmm.
that we would be close enough where we could check in with each other.
totally.
But I feel like I'm in a very safe place, and
Yeah.
I'm protected by like my wife and
Right.
people that really love me and
Sure.
want me to be doing the right thing for myself and my family. And
Yeah.
and if I wasn't, and someone said you're not because you're starting to make mistakes, I would instantly make a change.
Yeah.
But I just want you to know that I'm safe, and also know that I admire your life choices, because I think that they're working so great right now.
Yeah.
And they're making you way better. And I've watched you for the last 10 years in your sobriety become really great at
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was a great compliment. And I'm on board. And like I said, I don't know. Everybody's different. Everybody's different. Some people need a program, some people don't. Some people go out, they can drink. Some people go and have some wine, and they're great for the rest of their lives. Who am I to say, hey, man, that's not the way you're supposed to do? Why? I mean,
right.
I feel like I'm totally cool with it. I mean, if you're good, that's fine with me. I mean, obviously, you're the one that's gotta deal with it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It's like, not
to
my
me,
deal.
It's not really a gateway drug, but if you could possibly remember any of the phone numbers of your drug dealers before you quit, and I could get those on the way out, I would really appreciate
I'm still
it.
Facebook friends with all those guys.
Just in case, book friends.
Yeah, exactly. Who said that? But to answer your question, I think it was question 9.
Yeah.
No, I can't do wine. I know for a fact that I can't. You know, I will go. I mean, I will just get fucked up. You know, and then it's just downhill. So that's in itself is one of the main things that keeps me sober.
Yeah.
Because I know where I'm going to go. I'm done. So I can't do it. I can't have a little bit. I've got to stay quit. So.
Well, man, just keep doing what you're doing. And do you have any idea when your next visual performance, whether it's the script or a television show or something for people to see, will be out?
Man, no. I'm focused in the last couple of years. I've pretty much been focused on writing. So I don't know. I occasionally do that character, Dirty Diamond, a Dirty Neil Diamond singer.
Do you go out and do that?
Yeah.
So is there a website people can see? Do you have BrianJarvis.com?
No, not anymore. I got rid of all that stuff.
So when you go out and do Dirty Diamond, which is a dirty version of Neil Diamond, which Pergo is a huge fan of. He watches that shit
You have a
all the
mustache,
time on
though.
YouTube.
I did have a mustache when I.
But how do you let people know that you're about to go do a gig?
I'll put some. I usually don't even. You know, I don't even promote it. But if I do, I mean,
You're
I
really
don't,
bad
because
at this.
I know. It's only because I don't want anybody to come out and see me.
Yeah,
do it.
that's good. That's a good idea.
So, I don't know. If I do it, I'll throw something on Facebook, or I tweet every third month. I'll maybe tweet something, but I don't really tweet. So I'm just, I just kind of do my own thing, stay in the moment.
Okay.
Surf.
Does Dirty Diamond tell jokes or just sing?
He does some banter in between. Yeah.
Okay.
What would be
Do you have
what would
one?
be an example of a Diamond song that you would sing and have a little bit of thing going on with?
Well, I mean, there's a bunch of them.
Would you do like what is
I don't know
the-
if I remember them. I usually I don't remember anything. So if I get a gig, I sit and I'll go that day and go.
How
through.
about Cherry Baby?
Well, it's like what? Yeah, Sweet Caroline is Gay Threesome Time.
Gay Threesome Time.
And then what's the other one? Crack Whore Rosie instead of there's
That's cool.
What's the one in America?
Becoming.
Coming on America. I've done a whole Christmas special. I've got
that's
a bunch
amazing.
of there's so many, but you know me. I'm not really dirty. I don't like to.
No, I know.
I don't like to get
blue.
into that area.
Yeah, the blue is not you.
That's my T-shirt. Remember, blue
Yeah.
is not you. Wait, you wear it when I'm with you.
Yeah,
and
I
then with the
wear it.
arrow.
Yep, blue is not
Yeah,
you.
I remember that day. That was awesome. You were hammered on wine. If I do remember. I remember you wearing the shirt and you're like,
I wish I could remember.
I like my wine, and I like my wine.
Yep. I like my wine like I like my women.
I almost-
a lot of them.
I almost wouldn't mind, because it's so rare to have, to know somebody for the entire existence of the friendship.
Yeah,
and then
and then-
have. So it almost would be kind of cool to see you get nice and shitty.
I would love to do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, because
So fun.
Let me do it with you, and then we'll go surfing.
I've known him for 16 years of that 17
right?
sober.
Yeah.
Hey, surfing has become a big part of your life as
It's
well.
changed my life.
Why?
Yeah. Man, I'll tell you, because I went to India a while ago and I learned meditation, and I was there for a long time, and I still meditate. We both do, my wife and I, and we love it every day, so this is just kind of an extension of it's like a moving meditation, because when you're on that wave, you can't focus on anything else, or you fall,
Right.
So you just have to stay in that moment, and it's just something that I've never thought I would ever do. Like I never wanted to be a surfer or whatever. And we moved to Santa Monica, and then we started surfing. Now it's the only thing we
Yeah.
want to do. It's what our life
Is your wife
revolves
better
around.
at it than you? Like my wife is better than me?
What? There's something going on with this phone.
Oh,
But I'd have to say yes. She is better. She is a better surfer than me.
she's so psyched about you saying that.
She's got great. She's amazing. Actually,
I would
She
love
does
to.
have-
I would love to try to surf with you. I'm trying to finish this record, and I thought I was going to be in town way more than I have. I actually was away from town for a couple of weeks, and I'll only be here for a few days this week, and then a few days next week, and then a few days after that, and then we'll be done.
Yeah.
Which is a strange thing. But what I always like to wrap with is a few questions that my wife likes me to ask.
Oh, well.
Question
is it specifically to me or general questions?
It's a general.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah,
general.
all right, I
And,
guess I'll
and,
answer.
and the first one is...
It's 7.5 inches.
Oh, good. Yeah, okay, that's great.
Okay.
Then the next one is...
Blue, red, pink, orange, and wax.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. And those two questions are... what size album do you like to listen to best?
7.5, my friend.
And then,
Always. Yep.
And then the second question was, what color is your ball fro?
Right.
So yeah,
Yep.
you nailed both. That's
Yep.
great.
Thank you very much. That was excellent.
So, you've traveled? I can get you a new water.
No, this is fine. There's plenty of in there.
He just tapped the bottom of the bottle. So, you've traveled doing comedy. What is a great tour find? What's something that you have found on the road that you have to go to every time you're in that town, or something even in Massachusetts, since you don't live there anymore? Is there something somewhere you can tell people about that they have to go to when they're there? Like a great record store, or a burger shop, or something something that...
Yeah. I think, well, the last time I used to go a lot when I was little, Cape Cod. But
Yeah.
the town of Wellfleet was just...
What's it called?
Wellfleet.
Wellfleet.
Yeah, it's up on the tip. It's almost by P-Town, Provincetown. And we just went there and like had the best time ever. And there's a little boulangerie. Thank you. I'm not fluent, but I know my French. That we went to. Do you remember the name of it?
Maybe like PJ's Boulangerie or something.
Boulangerie-toi?
Yes. Anyway, it's probably I guarantee it's the only boulangerie in Wellfleet, Mass. So that I would have to say Wellfleet in general is the quaintest little town. That's just great, and it's really Cape Cod.
It's a really
Wellfleet,
cool place.
Cape Cod. Oh, it's great. It's really, really great.
If you
that
can
whole
deal with
area.
the accent, you can deal with anything.
Yeah.
You could probably do a great Cape accent, couldn't you?
I can only, well, a Cape accent is different. I have like when I do accents, I have certain words that I could say. So I can say, college sophomore cocksucker. That's the only thing I can
And
say.
what would that accent be?
That's Boston, you fucking college sophomore cocksucker. Look at this fucking college sophomore cocksucker over here. Fucking college sophomore cocksucker. You know? It's just the weirdest.
You've really narrowed it down
I
to
know.
one small sentence. What are you a fan of currently? Is there a TV show that you're religiously watching, or a new band or anything?
I haven't been getting into music for a good long time.
Really?
No.
Because you've been busy, or...
Yeah, I think it's busy, or I just lost my zest.
You know, it's funny. Pergo was turning me on to a Patton Oswalt stand-up that...
He's great.
That he was talking about.
He's a really nice guy,
Now
too.
he doesn't hate music anymore. He's tweeted some hate shit about Train
Right.
before.
Oh, wow.
But he's like, I don't hate anybody's music anymore, because I realized how much awful shit people do to each other out there, and like bad music really didn't hurt anybody except make me mad. And he was like,
Yeah.
I would say those people sold out, and then I realized it was just that nobody wanted to buy what I was selling. You know,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
So he's just less mad about it. But is there something else that you're a fan of then?
Well, I think the last thing that I watched that I really thought was amazing was True Detective.
Oh, unbelievable.
I know, wasn't it amazing? So that was like the big thing. Is there anything else you can think of that I might have?
What's your favorite?
Yeah. Besides my wife.
She's been in commercials.
Yes, she
I've
has
seen
been
them.
in commercials. Yeah, she's a great little actress.
I've recognized her when
Yeah.
I walked in.
Really? Hey, you're the girl that's on the thing. Yeah.
The last couple of questions I have are, why do you still do this? I mean, you said it earlier. You
Yeah.
don't really have a fallback, but I mean, you could do a lot of different things.
Well, I think that as I do
You could
it,
even teach kids how to surf.
I could totally. I mean, if shit hit the fan, maybe
Yeah.
we could live in Nicaragua and teach kids to surf or
Yeah.
something. But I think when it comes down to, I really do love it. I love comedy, and as I'm doing it, I guess I love learning about it. I'm a student of it, so the more I do it, the better I get at it. I feel like, at least some people think so. So I keep on doing it, and I think I'm kind of motivated by that, by learning and like, oh, I'm getting better, so I can do this now, and there's just so much more to learn because I'm still pretty much a novice at it, as in regards to the grand scheme of things.
And also the perfect thing about comedy and acting, I think, is as brutal as those two professions are, you can still make it way late in the game. And there's a lot of examples of people doing their best work way late in the game. And sometimes they're only recognizable work late in the game. Starting at a young age and being successful isn't always the answer to being great.
Yeah, and my priorities have totally shifted. I picked a direction, not a destination. I never wanted to really be a stand-up, and that's it. I had some aspirations.
Yeah, you
to
never really
be on SNL.
You
but
never
I
really dug that whole stand-up
No,
thing.
I did it, but I always did my own kind of thing, and it never. I just kind of go with kind of what nature gives me. Follow that charm, and I just keep on doing. I just know I want to do funny stuff, and whatever kind of comes my way, I do it. But I never really. I kind of lost my train of thought.
Which is great for me because you
know,
were boring the shit out of me.
I know.
woo,
I saw
let's
that
move
sleepy
on.
look in your eyes, and I was like, "What?"
It's the wine talking.
Yeah, I know. Jesus Christ.
No, but you're right. You always did. You chose, like, I remember like, dude, you should stand up, man. I can't wait. I got to go see you. And you're like, it's not really it's not my thing,
And I don't want to be that guy anymore. Like, I really don't. I don't need to be the SNL guy or any, I just feel like I'm totally happy. My creative, my creativity is totally fulfilled. Writing and doing stuff,
and people are recognizing it, and you're getting more and more work.
I don't know what's going to come down the road. Who knows? I can only stay in my cactus. She doesn't like you at all.
I know.
But so I figure something else is out there. Just keep doing what I'm doing. Stay in the moment, and good shit's going to be coming my way as long as I'm doing what I'm doing.
I've been saying that for a long time about you. So. I have just two more questions.
Yeah.
One is there a very specific yes or no that you have you've said at some point in your career that you think led you here to where you are? Something that someone offered you that you said yes or no to, or some variation of that led you to, here's where I am in this place that I would like to be?
Well, yeah, and again, I think we kind of answer that, and that would have to be the booze. I mean, I just said, no, I gotta change. I had to change my life. I had to do like a right angle change. I had to. It was just going downhill. So I think that's a no. No more booze.
Right. And so the last thing is, what's next, and how can people find out about you since you don't tweet, Instagram, have a website, and you had all your tattoos removed?
They will have to come to my karate class at the pier. and I will teach them everything, but I start with a low block, so you better sharpen up your low block when you get there. Ha!
That's awesome. All right, well, thanks, Brian Jarvis, for hanging out with us. Test Drive is going to be the movie that I think people will be able to see within the next
there's a
little
couple
while.
movies that should come out, and hopefully somebody will buy one of our TV shows. And if that's the case, I'll let you know, and I'll send you a private email, and then you can tell some people you bump into at a wine party.
And that was the end of that shit.
Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I'm so glad that we got a
the
chance
world
to
of
do
you.
this.
I'm a huge fan, and I love you.
Oh, man, I love you too. And this mic's been off for a while.
So sorry.
Test.
That's more like it.
That was it.
Let's finish with that. I'm so sorry. There you go, folks. Brian Jarvis right here on this week's Patcast podcast. And type in those two words to find us on Twitter or Instagram. You can also type in Patcast on iTunes or patcast.com to find us on the web. Type in no words to find Brian Jarvis because he does not tweet. You can Google him and you may find some other Brian Jarvises, but you will be able to find his IMDb page to find out more about him. You can also, of course, find him on the pier teaching karate, specifically the low block, which is a very underrated move somewhere here in Los Angeles, or there in Los Angeles, because I'm not there. That's it for this week. See you again next Monday on the Patcast.